I'm curious if the credible threat that's actually happening in the market, i.e., the lowering of the 10-year sub 4, I think sub 3.9,
Mhm.
mortgage rates kind of 6.6 and seeming to be heading lower. Do you think one of the credible threats or the outcome of this might be a reigniting of inflation? Is that something you see out there as a possibility?
Well, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I see this reigniting inflation again. Just alone, like, it's hard, you know more about real estate than I do, that's for sure. But when it comes to like even just taking the idea of a house right now, like people are saying that homes are unaffordable, right?
Mhm.
Interest rates are elevated. If interest rates start to fall, most likely people are going to start being able to make those payments on those homes. How are the prices going to start coming down, right? So inflation starts to take off again in the real estate market, right? And this is kind of like, the idea behind it. But even if you take it back into like the bigger macro picture of economics in general, when you think about like the bullwhip effect that is really going
Mhm.
to hit the markets, like this is very difficult for a lot of people to see. But it was once you kind of understand the bullwhip effect, and then especially if you're like in a particular industry that is going through it, like I was with the lumber industry, it makes it so easy to see.
Mhm.
Like you're like, man, all this noise about politics and interest rates and all this stuff, it all of a sudden none of that stuff makes sense. What makes sense is what really is happening, and that is the overproduction or underproduction of a particular item at a time, and then that reflecting back into the prices when the demand starts to pick up or fall. And this is again, it's really difficult to kind of wrap your head around all this because it's like this the bullwhip doesn't hit everything within the economy at the same time. It happens
Right.
at different times and at different levels, right? So like with
Mhm.
lumber, it happened years ago. Like lumber, like it found its equilibrium for the last year here. We've been at 550 per thousand for so long now. It's the boringest commodity in the world. Like people are like, "What's the lumber update?" And I'm like, "I don't know, nothing." Like nothing
Still
changed.
550.
I was like, "As soon as something does, man, I'll be all over it. I promise." But there's like
Yeah.
nothing really happening out there.
Yeah. I
Behind the scenes, there is with like inventory depletions,
Okay.
but again, I think that's due to a lot of the demand that has happened or the lack of demand that is happening out
Mhm.
there. But the you're going to see prices fluctuate when the demand for lumber starts to come back. That's going to take a dropping of interest rates, a serious one,
Mm.
and one that sparks the builders to want to go out there and start building homes again, with the idea that if they could build a home today, they can actually sell it for that price or
Yep.
a higher price going into the future. If that is reversed, where they think that they might end up selling it for a lesser price in the future, they're going to back off. They're going to be like, well, no way, man. This is
Yeah.
too dangerous for me. Even if there's like the possibility of breaking even or something, that's still not good enough, right? We got to be a profitable business here.
Yeah.